Hello and welcome to JoyRide with your hosts, the Metaphysical moms, Tiffanie and Kerry. JoyRide takes you on a spin through all things spiritual and soulful, including holistic healing, energy work, and personal development. Now, here are your hosts, Tiffanie and Kerry.
Hello.
Hello. This is so exciting.
We're here.
We got the gang.
We got the gang together. Well, some of our JoyTribe, a lot of our JoyTribe is here today. Guys, welcome.
Emma's in the house.
Emma, Emmanuel McIntosh flew in last night from Belgium with her beautiful mama. Hi,
Who is over
beautiful
here,
mama.
which you cannot see.
We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. You know, it was a long trip, 20 hours, but I'm here.
And
I'm
your
ready.
bag didn't show up with you.
And
so
my bag
she's like,
didn't
I didn't
show
have my
up.
product. I was like, you look
You'll just have to take me as is.
We will take you any way we can get you.
Yeah.
This is so fun. And we have Sara Kajawa
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
and Kerry Mina with her
Kerry.
beautiful
I'm
new
back
do.
again. My new
Look
do.
at her new do. Isn't that nice?
Thank you.
It looks gorgeous. So today is a tea time. We just want to catch up with everybody and hug this beautiful girl who's here in person.
I know. I couldn't quit hugging you last
know.
night.
I
She's
know.
here.
I got
She's
so
here.
much love.
We're petting you.
It's incredible. So, yeah, everybody hugging and hugging. I think we hugged like 5 times.
I think we did too.
Yeah.
Well, we've just been in. You know, this has been in the works for quite some time.
It's
And it's
a
finally here.
year and a half of hug building up.
I know. Hug building.
It needed to happen.
But it was amazing because you didn't. Oh my God. Seriously, already? We've already gone there?
I'm sorry.
And she
Where
looked
did we
so
go?
innocent. Never
I
mind.
saw the picture.
Apparently,
I
I
didn't
went there.
see where we went.
I saw the picture of Emma in the car with downtown
Houston
Houston in
in
the
the
background,
yeah.
and I was wondering if maybe they drove you around and got you trapped in an alley and had you sit there for 40 minutes while the glass. When she took me touring around Belgium, we got stuck in so many. We didn't go anywhere. We drove around a parking lot for about a half an hour, and then we got stuck behind some construction
Well,
crews.
you got there and you were completely exhausted.
I was.
mean, her eyes were like, okay, I'm still here, but let's go. And I only had one day or an afternoon with you.
I know.
So I was like, okay, let's get her to Brussels. And so, but you've seen Brussels, it's so busy there and construction everywhere. So everywhere we had this GPS that I borrowed. Everywhere we went, we got stuck. We got stuck on a parking lot, and then we got stuck in a street. So we saw one thing in Brussels, and a lot of standing
Construction parking
still.
lot.
You know,
A lot of talk time.
and a lot of
Mm-hmm.
a lot of
wanted
I got
goofy
some
time.
scoops. I got
We
some.
got some
she
goofing.
dished out some past life stories, so that was kind of fun.
Yeah. So
Because you guys have been together in past lives, right?
We sure
have.
have.
Yes.
We got a couple of them so far that we know, but
Yeah.
has to be more than that.
I kind of think we've all.
I think
we've
we've
been
all
together.
been connected in
I
some
believe
way or
so.
form.
Yes.
That's why we found each other again.
I keep looking
Yeah.
at your chest. I'm so sorry. It's so inappropriate, but your heart is like wedged there.
Thanks.
Oh,
I
whatever.
say thanks.
It's nice down there.
I know. Thank you. I know.
I know. Thank you. Just
Well,
take
look,
it.
Look, when you wear something and it rests right there, I'm thinking it's intentional. I mean,
If I could
Call me
adjust it, I
crazy.
would. But no, I'm gonna
It's a
stick
heart
it
of
right
gold,
back in.
isn't
You
it?
guys go
Yeah,
ahead.
it's a heart of
gold.
gold.
That's right. It's a heart
I'm
of
not
gold. I got a
looking.
silver one
I
too.
feel like I'm blushing. Okay, so I wanted to start with the favorite Eric story because we've all, I mean, that's why we're here, is because of Eric.
Eric.
And then through Eric, I found you. And through you, I found you. And it's just sort of this, you know, this whole map that's starting to appear.
The Eric map.
So, okay, you go. Your favorite Eric story.
I don't have a favorite one. There's so many. Well, I do, but I'm not sure it's appropriate to share.
I have one of those.
You have one too?
I have one of those.
Gerald,
Eric's
you're
a
not
naughty
listening.
boy.
But I'll start with the prank. I finally got a prank, and I was complaining that I never got a prank, and the reason I didn't get one was because I already believed. Well, I was with Robert Burke and at a woman named Pam Oak's house. You remember that night? So I have to go
Looking for
potty.
fairies.
So I come out of the bathroom, and Robert is right there in my face, and he goes, "Boo!" And he scared the shit out of me. And I was like, "What? Why the fuck did you do that?" And he goes, "Eric told me to." So that was my prank. I got scared with a big boo instead of the actual ghosty ghost. I got Eric in my face. I was like, "You little shit, you got me."
That's good.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad. That was a good prank.
Okay, your turn.
I've had lots of Eric pranks, but the most recent one was involved Kari, and it was just like a week or two ago. I had posted it, and Eric came through and he goes, I want you to mention something about farts to Kari, and I was like, well, this is random. He said, just do it. So, okay. So I typed her a message and I said, he wants me to message you about farts and that you can relate to it, you'll know what this is about. And I sent you some, like, I don't know, some movie clip.
Funny,
was it Jim Carrey?
Yeah,
I think in one of his, and Dumb and Dumber. Yeah,
Okay.
that scene. Of course I love. And so it wasn't until the next day she messaged me back and she goes, oh, you know why? She goes, because Ryan was questioning spirit and wanting to get a message from Eric. And so you can finish the story.
Right. So I just told him, I said, spirits will, if you ask Eric to prank you, he will come over and he will bring you a fart smell. I said, he has never done this to me and I have no desire for him to ever do this to me, but he can do that. So you can ask him to do it for you. So I got my fart indirectly.
Your message to me.
Politely. Yes. I really appreciate that, Eric.
Without
Thank
the
you.
odor.
10 miles apart from each other.
Right.
So that was the most recent, but there's always something very humorous, very funny.
About
always, yes.
with him.
With him.
For me,
yeah. And my son Adam will come through too, with the two. But
They
it's like there's a
buddy.
group, yeah. And
Yeah.
Audie, there's quite a few of them all come through. Always funny. Just enough, because I like that kind of humor. The Jim
Well, they
Carrey.
kind of have this
bathroom humor.
group,
Well,
the way I hear it. There's Adam and there's Adam from Cindy, and they're all kind of the same personality. Goofballs, goofing around, just being very freely about everything. And they really stick together. Like, they have this spiritual team or group. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're just buddies.
They have their own.
They work out.
I
Yeah,
just
they're
work
like,
for-
they share, I don't know, they work things out together. Like, they even cooperate.
That's
You
so
know,
funny.
But I love that
to
they
really
do it with
get
so much humor,
synchronicities
too.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Well, I just heard
They do-
freely like in Dressing Commando. Is what it is.
Yeah. I have that sometimes when I'm riding in my car picking up my kids from school, and then this song pops up. Freddie Mercury. He comes all the time. I want to break free. And that was one of my, funny moments. And Gerald was sitting right next to me, and the song pops up. All of a sudden, I get this image in my head. There's Adam, there's Eric, and then with Freddie and Robin Williams pops in. And they are dressed as females with the skirts, the high heels, and the stockings.
In drag?
Right.
In
And
drag.
Harry, did they shave?
No, there was
that's my story with
loads of hair.
Freddie.
Loads of
Loads
hair.
of hair.
Loads of manly hairier legs, and they were vacuuming and they were singing like that, and I could just see it in my head, and I start giggling, and Gerald goes, "Do you see it too?" He saw it too, and so we were both enjoying this and laughing our
Gerald
ass
is her
off.
husband.
Gerald's my husband. I love you, honey. And so he saw it too in his mind, and we just started giggling and laughing, and they just went on throughout the whole song, and it was just hilarious. It was just it cracked us
I'm
up.
sort of glad I didn't see that one. That my
You
third
can't
eye wasn't
unsee
cracked open,
something.
right?
Well, I was picking up Emma at the airport, and this young man walked by, and he had kind of curly hair. He looked kind of tall and gangly, maybe around early 20s, and he had a ball cap on. And I said, I imagine that's what Eric looks like. And she's like, oh, he has much hairier legs.
He really does.
Dark,
Very-
hairy
very
legs.
skinny, dark, hairy legs, and his hair's always, I don't know. He needs to get into a
Unkempt.
hairdresser.
He needs his product.
He needs his product.
He needs his
That's
product.
it.
Slick
That's
it
right.
back.
Make sure you didn't get your product. That's right, because you're going to bring that
Yeah,
up.
because poof, her bag's gone.
Yeah.
So Eric always sets off my alarm, fire alarm, in the middle of the night. It'll just be
he does that
fire,
to me
fire,
too.
fire. And we wake up and there's nothing there. I'm like, Eric, stop. So it'll stop. And then like 10 minutes later, fire, fire, fighter. My husband's walking around the house like, what do we do? I'm like, it's Eric.
Rude.
He's rolling his eyes at me.
Yeah,
know,
I
babe.
had that one. We have fire alarms all over, and I have like 3 stories. We have tiny houses. They're very narrow, but they're very large and in height. And so we have like 20 fire alarms all over the place. And so in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock in the morning, all these fire alarms go off all at once. I rush down in my PJs. There's something, I thought my whole house was on fire and nothing. And I'm going, Eric, what the fuck? And right as I yelled out, whoop,
They
all
stopped.
silently. I was like,
Oh, you.
I'm going back to bed. Don't you start
I got
again.
babies sleeping. Come on.
and I just went to bed and that was it. But yeah, he really got under my skin because I just like fell asleep not that long ago. And
That's
it's like,
funny. And he wakes me up with a pot smell.
oh,
It's
you get
not
the
fart.
I
I've
get
got part.
smells.
Just woken up and it's like right there, only for a couple seconds. And there's obviously nobody else in
I
the
think I'm
house.
desensitized. I don't think
Yeah.
I noticed that one.
Many times in the car
Right,
radio,
right.
it'll say the song or the
Yeah.
artist or whatever, and sometimes it'll just say Eric.
Yeah.
E-R-I-K.
Are you
That's
serious?
It. Yes.
Yeah.
We were trying to talk on Skype, and he
He kept typing.
Right.
K.
She's like, that's not me. My hands are here. Yeah.
Yeah, he just kept saying
Well,
okay.
He wanted you to do stuff.
Yeah.
Eric
She's
with
like,
a
"I
K.
don't
Eric
think
with a
so."
K.
And he was
Because
saying,
she was like, well, what do you think? And what do you think about this? And I was like, well, I have to think about it. And Eric was writing K. He's like, okay, you need to do this.
Do it. Mine is I would walk through the grocery store, and this is when I was like really into it because
You're reading his book.
Yeah. And so vegetables would just fall off in the fruit, like the fruits and the vegetables. And it wasn't one or somebody bumped it. It was
Just random.
several.
fruit.
Yeah. And so that's it. But he was very clear that he's not working with me. So I don't
Yeah, right.
No, really, it's what you said during my reading.
He's not one of your guides.
He's just not one of your guys, but he's also saying you would get annoyed with him.
Who wouldn't? Just kidding.
I already have 3
We have
boys.
3 boys. That's right.
Yeah, I'm used to it. Okay, so Tiffany and I were, you were talking about Freddie. And we were in the car. We had all of our boys in the car like 2 weeks
Oh
ago.
my gosh! Now I know where you're going with this.
It was so perfect because we were driving and what is the song?
Bohemian Rhapsody came
Yes.
on.
And we know every word, and the boys are just watching us. And then
Our
there's the
5
part-
boys behind us. Yeah.
and we're just
Did you do the
singing.
head
Where it
shake?
comes up to 3 and
Yeah,
then
and
it
we're
goes
like, we're like, what are y'all doing?
I love that
It was
song.
awesome.
It's one of
Yeah,
my
It's like
it
you
was
have
fun.
to learn it. It's a rite of passage. You have to memorize
right.
all
I mean,
the words
it's
to Bohemian
Wayne's World.
Rhapsody. It
Yeah.
is.
It
totally.
is.
It's
That
It
is,
is.
but nobody
Let's
knows
see
who
it this
Wayne's World
weekend.
is anymore.
You're seeing it.
but
We'll
I love
see
Wayne's
it. Yeah,
World.
we
Me
should
too.
see
Play-
it.
Oh,
No. Yeah.
yes.
We'll sing it this
Yes.
You gotta do the head thing.
All right.
So as you can tell, this is a tea time. We are just here to just catch up.
don't have a
and
plan.
We don't have a plan. We don't have a topic. It's just us, just being together. This is so fun.
Well, was that your Eric story? Did you?
that
have
was
one?
it. I mean, mine's not
Wait,
not
no.
that sexy.
You're gonna have something you were gonna say at the very beginning, and then you drew this something.
No, I don't know what I was drawing. It's
squirrel.
probably a vortex. You know, that does look
That's
sort
it.
of like a
Squirrel wave.
vortex. Yes, squirrel is a big deal. But it is, I want to point out that when we started this on April 21st,
Last year,
2016,
2016.
I didn't know any of these folks. Well,
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And it's like everybody piece by piece. Like our tribe is just growing, and I get messages from folks, and and I just feel like I know them. Like it is, everybody's coming, and we're all gathering, and it's just beautiful. And so thank you for coming all the way over here, and thank you guys for coming because I know you're supposed to be out of town. And
That's right. I'm going on an adventure with the fam today.
Yes,
Family
the ball
road trip.
game. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
we have a ball game coming up Wednesday.
Going to the Astros. Go
The Astros
Astros.
game.
Yes. Doing a
So-
little Texas barbecue.
I'm very
Horseback
excited.
riding.
Major League Baseball game?
I have once
When you were in Colorado?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were like all the way up there. It's like I couldn't even see where the ball
You
was.
move around unless they're
You
really,
can
really
hardly
good and
get
it's
this far.
crowded.
You're not checking tickets.
We move around, yeah,
Oh,
exactly. There are
okay.
only like 1, 2, or 3 spots that you can't go. But all right, so what are you working on?
Yeah, I want to hear everybody's update because everybody's got so much cool stuff. All of our spiritual
Well,
pursuits.
I do have my shine to show still, and that stuff's going. You know, Allison and I, we went big. You know, we did all the planets and universes and all that. Now we've gone small. We're doing microscopic stuff. So that's
And
interesting.
snot.
We did my body
Snot,
parts.
but that your body parts one was amazing.
That was
Yeah,
good.
that was so
Everybody
much
ought to get a
fun.
and I've
reading.
I've booked one with Allison.
Yeah, it was so
yeah,
cool.
but you know, I mean, if you look at our body, it's made out of millions and trillions of consciousness. I mean, every cell has a conscience, so every cell's actually living in their own universe.
Right.
You know, so how cool is that? That we actually, for us, it's a solid thing, but our cells are constantly moving and thinking for themselves and helping our body to stick together in a way.
Osmosis Jones. That reminds me of Osmosis Jones. That's one of my favorite shows. It's, we're gonna go down to the kidneys to watch the Stones. They're gonna pass any day. I mean, there's so many great stories in
You
that.
could do that.
I saw
You
this
could try doing
video. I saw this video where there's this, I don't know, this cell in our brain, and it needs to go from one place to the next, and it transfers information. And if you look at it with the special microscope, it's really just walking along.
God, that's
Right,
true.
right.
Oh, I saw that
Yeah,
one.
Did you
yeah.
see that?
Oh yes.
So he was just
weird.
dragging it along, and he
Right.
was going on his
Need to
day.
see
I mean,
that.
maybe he went by Starbucks.
Right.
Well, we don't know.
Right.
That huge
we're a
protein
world.
on his
Yeah,
back.
did you
and
see
he's
it? And he was
carrying
like
it
carrying it
universe.
along. He's like, I got to go that way, you know.
It's like a little
But it
ant.
makes you
Yeah.
think that all of that is going on inside your body.
So you're a whole world yourself.
Yes.
You
Totally.
certainly are. And
It-
what
you
people
are
took
your
out
own
of this
universe.
one was how they're like, wow, my heart has a consciousness. It's got a personality.
Are you gonna cry?
I'm gonna not this time, not yet, but I'm gonna love my heart because now it's become personal to me. So that was very interesting. And we got some other.
I have to watch that one.
And I
There's
think
some good ones coming up
it's
too.
good that you guys do that because it also creates this connection with your body. Like, hey,
Exactly.
be thankful. Say thank you to your body. I tell people that all the time. Eric tells people that. You need to look yourself in the mirror every morning and say thank you for giving me another day.
I thought one time is that because Earth is like, Earth school for our spirit. This is our dorm room. We're gonna live in it forever while we're here. And we don't always take the best care of it, and that really surprises
we
me
don't
how much.
clean our room.
Warren Buffett talks about that. No, it's true.
Disorganized.
Warren Buffett says, what if I told you when you turn 16, I will buy you a car, and that is your car, but you have to have that car for the rest of your life. Would you take care of that car? Well, of course you would, because it needs to last. He said you have to think of your body the same way.
As a temple, because most of us
We
take
don't.
care of our vehicles now.
Well, of course. Well,
You know what I mean? We don't add things.
Calling
to our
around a
gas
bunch of
tank
other
or
people.
right. We don't put
Yeah.
sugar in our tank. I know.
Well, speaking
I
of
put a lot
sugar,
of sugar in my tank.
sugar, your stomach and your kidneys and liver and all that. We're saying no more sugar. It burns too hot.
Yeah, it cooks you.
It
your
cooks
organs
you
like a
from the
chemical
inside.
cooking.
Yeah, he said everything's a chemical, and it's
Right.
too much sugar just throws everything off. But you're also,
But what's too much?
gosh,
Well, me, probably any.
the
And I was
breads
looking-
and the carbs. They were saying it's
I was
too
looking at my
much.
lunch
and
meat,
everything else,
and the
yeah.
lunch smoked turkey had sugar in it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, we can't get away from sugar at the grocery stores
Yeah,
here.
Everything's got sugar added to it, milk, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Oh, especially milk.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're doing the shiny shows,
Okay,
but you
so
roasted-
and then I've also got like a little hybrid show going with Heather, who is part of my
She's so cute.
M6 group,
Yes.
and we're being a little bit.
You're out there
We're
pushing it,
yeah,
but in
a
a
little
great way.
bit. Some good stuff, like sexy stuff.
But where can people find that though?
Well,
You're a little covert with that.
Heather is still trying to grow her confidence, and so if you are in the Channeling Eric blog page or a couple other select ones, then you can see these. Otherwise, you won't be able to get in them. You have to be in that Channeling Eric blog. So I'm loving those. We've talked to her tall white friend Sam, the one that
Sam.
were hovering above us in Nevada, and others, and then the
Did
last
you guys get to meet? 'Cause
Sam.
wasn't there a meeting coming up?
They were supposed to.
Well, Sam was up in the mountains with me and Allison, but there were too many people. But yeah, Sam said that he'll bring his friends and meet Heather and I there, put on his little disguise. And then he said, I don't know if you guys, because the human psyche just cannot handle that shit.
Yeah.
So he's like, we might meet and we might see you, but you won't know it's us. And I'm like, no, I want to see you. So I don't know what's
okay,
gonna
but
happen,
he's
I have a date.
physically here
Yes.
as
Okay.
an alien, but he can put on a human
He just
disguise.
yeah,
do
he
they
just puts
put
on the
their-
disguise.
Or do
Like a
they
human
put
cloak?
the
Like a
how they,
physical
yeah,
It's a projection.
how they project and they,
No, he actually puts on a wig and a hat and gloves. 'cause
It's
they
not
only
like
have 4
Cocoon where
fingers.
they take off the whole.
okay, but
Like a
aren't
Hollywood-
they
I'm just
like
getting a
7 feet
visual.
They're tall. They are tall.
with long? And I mean,
He looks like a rock star. Maybe all the rock stars are.
Bobby tall.
He says he goes.
Bobby.
Are you an alien? They go down to the Vegas casinos in the middle of the night where people are hammered.
and gamble because nobody would fit right in.
They're all NBA players.
So I'm having a lot of fun with my Heather channelings because they are a little bit, they're just in a different direction. Well, Allison's on we're going a different one too. Okay, but my next thing on my list is to go to Belgium because Emma invited me to participate in her Channeling Eric event, and I was nervous about that for a while, but since Vegas, my confidence has grown, and I'm ready to.
Oh, you're next to me. We
Okay.
Okay, when's it
get
coming
each
up?
other calm.
When is it coming up? September.
Okay, September 9th. Oh my God.
Are
Yeah,
there still
I'll do it.
tickets? I mean, can you
Still
go?
space
There's
available?
still tickets. It's September 9th, so it's on a Saturday, and we got this great room booked, which we can decorate any way we want to, and which is kind of
Bring
cool.
Sarah.
I'm the decorating queen.
She can
And
come too.
what's the day look like?
Well, I think it's just a whole day of fun. It starts at 10. It should be done by 6. And so we're going to do meditation. We're going to do guided meditation. We're going to do mindfulness exercises. We're going to talk about whatever Eric wants to talk about. We're going to talk about what you have planned.
This is what she said to me. She invited me to do this, and I was really excited for it. And this was a while ago, and like meditation's my specialty. So she goes, we're going to do this. I'm going to lead this meditation in the morning, and then I'm going to give you 2.5 hours or something in the afternoon.
No, I said we still have 2.5 hours to cover. So.
Okay, well, I'm thinking she's taking away the one thing I can do. What do I
Meditation.
do? But again, like I said in Vegas, I I made all these tools, and so I'm going to do some energy work.
Yeah, that's what I was
So
thinking.
I'm looking
light
forward
I already
to it.
saw
Yeah.
that
Light
happening.
language.
I'm going to do
Light
the
language.
pendulums, light language, and then
Divining rods.
my shiny divining.
Oh yeah.
Shiny Divinies.
Yes.
And the divining rods?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about the e-board, and we're gonna
Yeah.
really, and I mean, there's gonna be Q&A with Eric, and you know,
It's going to be
channel?
fun.
it's gonna be fun, you know, and we're gonna just, I don't know, it's
So I'm going to meet a bunch of new people
I'm
again,
still
but
trying to
some
work
of the
it all
people I
out,
know
but-
from Facebook, so I'm looking forward to meeting the people
but
I
we
already
got
know.
people
and-
from all over.
I know.
I have like people from Britain, from Ireland who are coming in, from Lithuania, from France, from Germany, from Holland. I mean, so far we got
Wow,
a very.
it's like the United Nations.
It's like a European.
like the
thing.
EU.
It's a European thing.
Michael hasn't decided if he's coming yet. I'm kind of pushing for it. We'll see.
Yeah, well,
We'll see.
he'll be
you
there.
gotta go, Michael.
He'll be there. He'll be okay.
I just want to talk cats. I mean,
Talk
with him.
cats?
Yeah, with this little cat group. My husband.
Who are you
thinks-
talking to?
Wait, that.
I mean, my Michael. Which Michael are you talking?
No, I'm talking about your Michael.
Oh, cats! Random cat. I got a kitty.
Sorry, am I talking to the wrong person?
I know,
do
blank
that.
stare.
No, we have family in Germany, and there's this guy, Heil Herbert, and I've been talking to him on Facebook, and it's like, oh my God, this has been going on for 2 years, and you're not my cousin. I did it again the other day with Ingo. I mean, how many Ingos
I don't know when the
knockoffs
Ingo.
are there? I was like, honey, is this Ingo? He's like,
That's not our
I don't
Ingo.
know.
It's not my Ingo.
Funny.
That was our Ingo.
Oh, okay.
It was on LinkedIn, and Charles had him too. He's like, I friended him too. I hope that's our Ingo. And so, anyway, that sounds like so much fun.
It's gonna
That
be
sounds
great.
fun.
You
Now,
know,
will
we're
you
still kind of
channel?
working out that. Yeah, I'm gonna try and channel Eric.
I thought you were
We're gonna
doing that
practice
here.
this
We're
week.
practicing here.
That's right, we are.
Are we doing
I'll
that? Are we
practice
doing that
too.
on our trip?
Probably.
Probably because Mama Lisa's going to want a hug
Oh, yeah,
from
she's
Eric.
gonna want to hug. So,
Yeah.
and I'm for sure
I'll
Eric's gonna be there
snuggle
every.
you.
I mean, he talks to me all the time, so even when he's not invited.
James channeling and singing the Queen. We're good.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be fun, isn't it? It's just gonna be a lot of fun, and of course we're gonna have a little store there that my husband's gonna be doing. And,
Oh, okay.
and we
I'll
do
see
have.
if I can
I
get
did
a
invite a
discount.
lady over who's like sells those special filters that I was talking about.
I want
this
those.
The water
morning.
filters, yeah.
Yeah.
Special water
Oh,
filters.
yeah.
And
Cool.
Yeah.
Will you be my mule and bring it back?
Yes, I absolutely will.
Really?
Yeah.
Take an extra
So
suitcase.
And I'll.
No
Anyway,
duct tape.
we'll talk about this.
You're good. You're
Okay, so how do
good.
people find this?
well, you can go to my website. www.emmanuelmacintosh.com, and all the information is in there. It's 65 euros, which is about $70,
That's cheap.
which is
That
cheap for a
is
whole
cheap.
day,
It
and
really
it includes
is.
lunch.
Includes
So,
food.
I
it's
love
just,
food.
It's well, you know, I just wanted
No
to make it
sugar.
accessible
Veggies.
to
Sugar-free
everyone
lunch.
because I know people have to travel far.
Right.
Yeah.
You're paying so many
I
other
want to.
expenses.
I mean, you know, you have.
I
I,
love that
mean,
you're
some
aware
people
of
are
that.
flying in, and you know that does cost some. So I want to give everybody an opportunity to come. So.
You're gonna make
Then
some
after-
great memories.
Oh yeah.
We are. I'm really looking forward to that one.
I wish the JoyRide show would be there. And
I
cover
I
it
wish we
live.
could
next
do.
year.
We are
we may have to do
here
something.
live.
Yeah,
at
we're gonna have to
channeling
live.
Erica fan.
And this live video will go on for 8 hours.
Just every now and then, and then you just put it together. You know.
And then
Awesome.
after I finish over in Belgium, I stay a week. I'm crashing at Emma's for a few days, and then I train over to UK, and I have another shiny event over there.
Really?
That's right.
I'll show
With
you.
Allison.
Some people are coming to ours.
And then go on
And
over
then
here.
they're going to
Yes, I was
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
get your ride over, but I think everybody's flying.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, that's funny.
That's so cool.
And then I'm done until January. Then I go to Australia where I speak with Allison at the Afterlife Conference.
The
Cool.
Afterlife
There's an
Conference.
afterlife.
The Australian
wanna go.
Afterlife Conference.
We
I don't
need
know
a
what's going
Houston
on.
where it is.
Afterlife
Australia.
Conference.
It's kind of a big country.
Okay,
don't
what's,
know.
put everything on your website. Your website, Silver Lining Healings.
SilverLiningHealings.com.
Is that to find out about the UK Channeling Eric event, though?
I don't think I have. Oh, I don't know.
Is that
Let's
up-
go.
we're-
I'm going to
we're-
send you
that's
guys to
Allison.
ascendingthepath.com.
Ascendingthepath.com.
That's Allison's.
I'll put all the links on JoyRideShow.com.
Okay.
So we'll look for the
Thank
show, and we'll put all the links to everything on how to just
Yeah.
click through
And
to it.
everybody welcome, right?
That's
And-
right.
The
Could
more
y'all
the
stream
merrier.
it so we can see it if we're not in town?
You could do a pay-per-view.
Could you a pay-per-view?
that's a
We
good
set up a
idea.
video and then
we
we
tried
can
to do that. We are
could.
just not that techy yet. We're still working
No,
on
I
our
know.
sound. Even after all that equipment we got, we're still working on the sound. We will get it one day, though. I promise.
I know. I called you. I said, so with the channeling Sam deal, I couldn't hear you at all. And she said, no, just keep going. Keep
Until
going.
Heather
you'll get
took her
there."
headphones. Until
funny?
Sam took the earbuds
Till
out.
Sam took the
And I don't
earbuds
know
out.
how that, when now all of a sudden I worked, he must have unplugged it too.
Yeah, he unplugged it.
Smarty
'Cause,
pants.
he
That was
knew.
funny. He did not like those things in his ears.
Well, you have a lot going on.
You do. That's so
You
exciting.
really do. That's,
I
That's
know.
really neat.
Take a breath, Kari.
Very happy for you.
I don't know.
Thanks.
You know, get it going. We've got a little bit of time.
All right,
You
Miss
working on?
Sarah, what do you?
Let's see. Anything new? Nora with the Soul Bridges International.
Okay, Soul Bridges
this is such a
International.
cool
She's still putting
thing.
her business together. Yes. Yeah. So that's really awesome. And so you can go to Soul Bridges International on the Facebook page and join that, and they'll explain.
But
more
explain
about that.
again what it is, because she's
It's
assuming.
communicating with the higher selves of those who are incapacitated that are not able to
Such a great
communicate
idea.
with their loved ones.
Yeah,
I
so
don't
if
know,
you're in
I
a
can't
like
believe people not
coma,
talking
if
about
you're in a
that.
coma
Great.
or unable to
great.
dementia,
Dementia or
So they're in their
Alzheimer's.
final stages.
Alzheimer's, and they
Yes.
can't
Or
communicate.
babies.
Mhm.
Yeah, babies
You
too.
know,
Oh,
some babies
yeah.
really have a lot of problems, and sometimes it's just the way their room is
God, that's such a good
fit
idea.
in, and you know,
Great idea.
just by moving furniture around. I mean, I've had
Feng shui. Maybe.
I had a reading with a mother who was completely didn't know what to do anymore, and her baby would cry nonstop. And you know, the thing that I got through was the way that the room was set up. It scared the baby,
Trip out.
and so I told her, move this, move that, get rid of that, and she did, and the baby's fine.
Yeah, awesome.
so
So
simple.
you know, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's
Because
just
you know she could have gone to the
communicating.
doctor, and the doctor would be at a
they-
loss and start prescribing
would have
stuff
given
instead of
prescriptions.
sedative.
Yeah, doing a
And
bunch of
sometimes
diagnostics.
it's really something scary. It was something that was hanging off the ceiling that was supposed to
a
be
shadow or
decorative
something.
and
Aw.
stuff. It scared the baby. So every time it went in that room, it would start bawling for no reason. And so yeah,
Great
just
idea.
a little bit of
Just
moving
understand.
around.
I remember my daughter would be terrified of just the smoke alarm on the wall.
Yeah, I mean, the
Because the
smallest
blinking
thing
light on
can
it,
scare
yeah,
her.
terrified her when
Yes,
she was
it
little.
was funny.
Yeah, and so we don't always have to think, oh my God, there's something wrong. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's something very simple.
Environmental. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's cool.
So
So you're working with Nora.
And Nora, and so she's working on getting her business together and working on that, and I think she'll be on your show once that.
yes,
That's
soon, very
underway.
soon.
And the channeling Eric mediums, I'm on that and helping. Those are being brought to me are mostly newly bereaved parents.
Yeah.
Because I've been there, done that, so I'm helping those. You know, starting out to learn more about communication and just even getting signs and finding more peace, helping kind of get over that top of that crest
Yeah.
of that hill.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been working.
Are you
on.
teaching your Reiki?
Yes, I'll be teaching at the Lone Star College where I took the class 3 years ago. I'll be teaching Reiki 1 and 2 at the Woodlands, the Montgomery campus in the fall.
The fact that is at a JC is
love it.
amazing.
I know, for adults, yes.
I love
I know,
that.
and then one of my friends who teaches reflexology, she'll also be teaching the meditation class there. We have oils classes there. There's all
Are you
different
serious?
ones. I have study of Edgar Casey books. There's all different things there offered. I
Now,
know.
is this leisure learning or is it actually through the
Yes,
school?
it was through the school, but it's non-credit. Yes, it's non-credit.
It's non-credit, but it's
still.
adult continuing
Yes,
education
mhm.
classes.
So all the Lone Star campuses offer
Well, it's
it. as long
starting
as
to,
they
isn't
have
it? If you look at school systems, they're
Your
giving some
mindfulness.
options, and especially a lot of teachers are learning mindfulness to handle
Many of
the
the teachers
children.
are now using essential oils in their classroom,
Yeah.
which is amazing. Enough,
Yes,
right?
So it
Absolutely.
is
Yes.
starting to become part
Love
of
it.
our
Mainstream.
children in a
And
way.
so when the Reiki was brought to me, when I learned that the Reiki was even offered at the college, it had already been going on for 6 or 7 years. I wasn't even aware of
wow.
it
Yeah.
because it wasn't in my spectrum and my awareness
Yeah.
yet. So these classes have been going on.
But to have one spot where you can go versus having to
Yes.
find it and find somebody reputable,
That's
and
right.
because this woman is very reputable.
Oh,
I mean,
thank
seriously,
you.
your integrity
you.
is beautiful.
Thank you,
So-
thank you, thank you. I love you.
And that's true. If you put your perspective on something, all of a sudden you start noticing it everywhere.
Pink
Yeah.
card. I always say a pink
No,
card.
the
Yeah,
yellow
like you
card.
buy
yellow
Or the yellow
yes.
card.
you
Yellow
buy
car.
a new car, all of a sudden there's like a million out there. You're
Yep.
like, hey, they get the same car as me, and you've never noticed it before.
Mm.
Same
I'm
thing with the
attracted to it.
spiritual. You know, you
Yeah,
just
how many times I've gone
open
by
up
shops in
and-
Old Town Spring that offered Reiki or card readings?
never noticed it
mediumship.
before.
Never noticed it.
Yeah.
Been by there 1,000 times. Never noticed
That
it.
just
Wasn't-
shows you that you see what you want to see.
That is the
You
truth.
see what you're ready to see, I think.
Your reality is what you focus on.
Yes.
And so, in order to change your reality, you also have to change your focus.
That's right.
That's
so,
true.
See, all of us, we have a wider viewpoint, panorama view now.
Or is it? Because I know that I am no longer focusing on Kim Kardashian's
Correct. I'm talking about higher level vibrational things.
butt. Just wanted to put that
Just
out
her
there.
boobs.
right.
A higher level,
No,
move it up.
the only thing I noticed, and I don't know who the Kardashians
check
are,
your
I want to
eyelashes.
say. I know who they are. I mean, I know I'm not stupid, but I know who they are, but I can't name them, and I don't ever want to.
Right,
I don't
I
want
But
to
it
do
is,
stuff.
oh, my nails are blue, by the way. I've been, we had this Abusan French rug,
Oh, I saw that on Facebook.
and I messed it up. And so, because it
Messed it up.
it got
Dyed
bleached.
blue.
So we decided to bleach it and dye it. I was like, I have red dye. We have bleach. And so that's why my nails look purple.
Blue.
I looked like I had a bad heart for a while because my whole hands were blue. But it was, but where was I going with that? Oh, her
Gary.
nails. We were talking about
Kim
how
Kardashian's
her
butt.
nail was, one of
they're
them, they had
pointy.
the really nails and they had these loops. I'm like, how do you
Loops.
pick your children? They had these like little earrings in each of her nails. And I thought, how do you pick your children's
Maybe she
noses?
takes them off.
I mean, how do
She
you
doesn't do that.
how
I
do you
just
wipe
don't.
their bums?
She
I mean,
hires somebody to do that, hun.
There you go.
No
So it's nail
judgment.
art. It's nail jewelry,
She
little
just
dangles
goes,
off the nails.
wipe that boob.
you need to please wipe that ass.
She gets paid for doing that.
How do you wipe your own ass?
There you go. They get paid.
Again, help.
I'm sorry. Okay,
Roll it totally
horribly digress. Pink car. So, thank you.
All right, what's going on with you, my love? Because you've got all kinds of cool stuff. You're booked in readings through like next May, and I know
Yeah,
you're taking
and
a break.
I'm
after that.
taking, well, I'm just kind of stopping because I don't know how far I can, with
Yeah.
my
Far.
children, I don't know how far, I can't look that far in the future. So, and my husband will laugh at me. What? I thought you were psychic.
It's got a little point there, doesn't it?
When it comes to my children, I can't predict my children. So, yeah, unfortunately, I'm fully booked till, well, unfortunately, I mean, it's good for me, but for other people, it's kind of sucky. But I'm booked till July 2018.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So I
We
just
have an
kind of went stop, and then I'm going to start rebooking in December, because I mean, what are you going to say? I'll
right.
see you in 3 years.
Right.
I mean,
Gallery readings. I think
That's what
we
I
think
thought,
you should do
gallery readings.
well, I
Great
do
readings.
those on Learn It Live, so you guys can go to Learn It Live. I have a beginner's mediumship class coming up in August 16th
Yep.
on Learn It Live. Where it's going to be 2 hours, and I'm gonna give you the starting points. What to look for. What to focus on. How you can open up your awareness and so forth to kind of help people get in touch with their own, intuition, to get in touch with their own family members, or even for people who are advanced, it's sometimes good to kind of go back to basic and start,
sure.
start fresh. So we're definitely doing that.
And you can listen to our show. I believe it's show number 57,
Sounds
where we
right.
talk all about this.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that
Well,
everybody's a psychic. And we do it on a daily basis, or even if it's not a daily basis, very regularly, and we just don't know about it. So we're going to talk about, some things that we do and that we don't know, that is a psychic connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're always connected. Everybody can do what we do. Everybody has it in them. It's all about
where you put your
changing your
focus.
perspective and your focus on. And so we do it on a daily basis, and that's what we're going to talk about.
Can you recall your very first time you were paid to read for someone?
Oh, wow.
Do you even remember that?
I think so. It was a British lady.
Really?
Yeah, from London.
How did it go?
Really well.
Of course.
And now you've done your 500th.
I'm on number
that up?
500.
500th.
500 in about a year. It's crazy.
So
And
you've
how
only
many
been doing
countries?
this for a year and a
I've
half.
only been doing this for a year and a half.
And you've had 500 readings.
I've done it for a year with Eric. I did it for about 6 months, just kind of
On your own.
on my own.
So he came back to teach you and to help and work with you.
Well, I used to use tarot cards. Is what I did.
Yeah,
you
your
know.
tool.
I mean, I had no idea how to lay. I see these professionals go, tuk, 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 and I'm just like, I lay them one by one.
Pick up.
I got 7, and I go, okay, that's what Eric showed me was you're not reading any cards. You're just allowing it to flow out. So I would just see cards and
Keeps you busy.
and it would just
Yeah, keep your mind.
Well, that's
busy.
good.
it give me clues.
Something to
of
focus on, yeah.
what it was, So that's how I started for about 6 months. And Eric said, get rid of the cards. Just trust what you feel. And he's the one who pushed me into, hey, you don't need these tools. You have it already in you.
Is he right there? Is he
Yes,
right there?
he's sitting next to my mom.
Yeah. Yeah. He's in a tall chair. He sat there with
Hi,
Elvis
Eric.
one day. Yeah,
He's always around. So, but I kind of made this deal with him. I said, okay, if you want me to really do this, because, he's the one who said, my mom's going to contact you for an interview. And I was like, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. And he's like, yes, you can. And so he really pushed me. And I was so nervous the first interview I did. And where was I going with this?
We were talking about the first one, and do you recall?
All right.
Can you recall
And
that?
you know, and so he just kind of pushed me in doing that, and I don't know, I was so nervous, and as soon as I started talking, I stopped thinking.
Yeah.
You know, you just like, you stop thinking, and it just starts flowing out of you, and all of a sudden she was like, okay, well, that was it, and I was like, oh, wow,
We're done?
The hour is over. You know,
Wait,
it just flows
the
out.
client said that was it?
No, well, Elisa said on my first interview.
Oh,
Lisa.
her. Okay,
The
okay, I was
client,
thinking, I never
she was
wanted-
she's a great lady from, she was, always had a lot of questions about a lot of things in her life didn't seem to match up. And you saying about her past life, and I remember one of them was, I said, you know, you were a soldier, World War I, I think it was, and she was in France, and I was telling her the whole story, and she was like, oh my God, my whole life I've been obsessed with World War I or World War II movies. And, you know, as a female, people look at you. I mean, you know, her husband was like, or her boyfriend was like, why do you like those? But she's obsessed by looking at it. She's obsessed with France, you know, and it all started matching up. And I see her now. She still communicates with me, and she still gives me updates on her life. And, you know, I see her growing, and, you know,
so cool.
she's going healthier. She's really, you can see the fear that she carried around with her for those years have gone away, and you can see people opening up and blossoming, you know, and so for me that was really, you know, I get these updates and I'm like, oh, I'm so happy that I got to help them with that. You know, I took their fear away and I gave them understanding, you know, and it's a really good feeling to have that.
You're the crowbar.
Yeah.
I give them the tools.
Yeah.
And then
But you
they
get 'em
do it.
unstuck.
They do it for themselves. You know, it's just about giving them the tools, isn't it?
Yes.
In a way, we heal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not what's broken, but you know, it's almost like
You were saying you've with these 500 readings, you're like, we're all dealing with the same stuff.
yeah. I've
What are the
noticed that, you know,
similarities you see?
well, a lot of things is, you know, self-image, how we see ourselves, how we project ourselves, and we're all suffering with insecurities. You know, we're all suffering with problems with stress and, you know, how it affects our body. And so we just all want to be happy. We want to have a successful career, and we want to have happy children and a happy home. You know, and it's like every reading I do, it's all about, self-love, self-respect, self-achievement.
Yes.
It's always about those three things, you know, and if you can find the self-love and you can find the self-respect, you know, and not let yourself be influenced by the outside views of the world or of society or whatever. If you just stick true to who you are and say, hey, I'm proud of being me, you know, and you give yourself that self-love and your body, yeah, you give your body and yourself that self-love every morning, then you're just going to be healthier. You're going to be mentally healthier, and that's how we get to the self-achievement.
Right.
Because your view will be different of your world. And so every reading I have, it's about those three things. It's all in a different way.
Right.
People, approach it from a different perspective with a different background, but it all lines up to those
Self-love,
three things.
self-respect, self-acceptance, and all that.
And
Self-achievement.
Self-achievement.
Yeah.
Achieving something that's important to you.
It's important because we are all here we want to achieve something. We all do. We either want to be happy, we want to be successful, or we want it all. You know? I mean,
right.
you can have it all.
That's right.
But it's listening to what
It's listening
you
to you.
authentically want, not what
Yeah.
you're told you want.
Exactly.
Right.
You know,
It's
that's
about
the
going
difference.
inside, and that's where the self-love comes. It's about being honest with yourself
True
and
to
saying,
yourself,
what do
that's
I
right.
want? Not what society
looks
tells me
society,
what,
yeah.
what success is.
Your parents, your
What
husband,
do I want?
the TV.
What is success to me? It could just be being a great mom,
Right.
you know, and that might be your success, you know. That might be just what you need to be happy, you know, or it might be something else. It might just be with being happy with yourself, you know.
Right.
That doesn't mean being cocky. It has nothing to do with ego. It's about being
Authentic.
happy in yourself. It's about being firm and grounded in your human existence, because Eric says this to a lot of people that I have readings with, you know, stop identifying yourself with a human. You're not human.
Yeah.
I'm a creedy.
It's
Okay.
humanitis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are a spiritual being trying to survive in a human existence, and so accept the human existence and the human condition as well. You know, being human comes with 100 millions of emotions, so you might as well accept that sometimes you'll be cranky and sometimes you'll be this, and that's okay.
Last night you said, I'm sorry.
Oh, well, I was going to continue with that, and that sometimes, I was thinking the other night about how frustrating it is sometimes when we're told to have these spiritual perspectives about things. And I was kind of, bitching at Fairy Girl about, well, if you want me to be so damn spiritual, would you put me in a human body for? Because, we're supposed to have these kinds of, so
Yeah.
We talked about that last night.
Yeah.
that kind
But-
of
Yeah, it's not about, if we're here to all experience enlightenment,
We wouldn't have come.
you're not you're not gonna come because you have that in the afterlife. You're here to
Right.
experience the emotional part,
Right.
to experience the physical.
So our last show that we did, I was looking at some stuff, and they were talking about enlightenment. And if you're enlightenment, you don't do this and you don't do that. And they said, it's a hogwash. You cuss, you may smoke, you may drink, you may, you do these things, but we have this misconception that if I'm enlightened, I never get
pious.
upset. I
Right.
never say
You have to
a
become a
naughty
monk.
word. I never, right, where then you're not feeling, and that's what you said last
That's
night.
what I said. Buddhists. I look at them. I admire them because they're so peaceful. But Eric once told me, "Yeah, but you don't want to be a Buddhist. You're not going to experience anything. It's the same routine every day. There's no development. There's no growth because they're not experiencing anything."
Or maybe they've done all of that and they've just, for whatever reason, came
No,
back.
he's just, a lot of people. It's just for just kind of having a balanced life. Sometimes we need a life where
A lot of contrast,
Yeah.
diversity,
But
experiences.
you know why I think that is? Do you know why I think they're here? And you can sit in the state and you're completely inward. I believe they're holding a frequency up here, and we in train.
we're trying
so
to get
that's
there,
why
yeah.
they're doing this. It's not that they're lazy or they're not
no,
lazy.
that's
not
their
the word.
choice. They chose
But
that.
but
yeah.
their purpose may be to help
to
everybody
help raise the
come up.
frequency. Yeah,
And
it's
so
possible. Yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
I love that idea.
But he's just saying. I think his point was,
Don't as-
being a
Yeah.
spiritual person doesn't mean you have to go sing Hare Krishna and shave your head.
Right.
It's all about being comfortable in your human existence, but living with compassion in your heart
Right.
for yourself, but also for others, and bringing each other together with
perfect.
love.
Yeah.
That's what being a spiritual person is about. It's about love.
It is about love.
Right.
It
Learning
is
more about
love.
our spirit.
We've been watching the old 1970s Kung Fu series
Aren't they wonderful?
where the guy's trained as a monk and then he goes out into the world, and the way he is a Buddhist monk in the Western world and how he brings that mindfulness and compassion and forgiveness to the world. It's really cool. So we're trying to,
To see that.
we've recorded the whole series. It's really cool.
So what are you working on, Mama?
I'm doing my tapping, my EFT work. I love just
You
kind
need
of
to teach me.
I
The
would love to
miracles.
while we're here. So yeah, it's just teaching people to be okay with all this emotional soup that we find ourselves in all the time.
That's not true.
What?
Working with you is not you teaching someone how to do it. That may be the offshoot. It's your divine connection. I'm serious. No. I'm not blowing smoke up your skirt. I think that it
I
is.
kind of like that.
Yeah. Do that too.
No, it is when I worked, and not to get all gooey here, but when I worked with you, it was you reprogrammed a fundamental well, it wasn't. It was what happened from my viewpoint when I was a kid, and you completely reprogrammed that. And you completely made me
Changed the
see.
past.
No, because I thought, I didn't do this, and I was a mess, and I was this, I was that. And I went back, and I actually thought, okay, what if I had done it all perfectly? I wouldn't be nearly as happy as I am now. If I did everything, and I made a ton of money, and I had, my PhD, and all of these things that I deemed I was unworthy because I didn't have all of those things, you helped me see that I needed that to end up here.
Yeah.
And so that is so.
So she doesn't really change the past like Kari says, but she shows
change
you
your
the
idea.
truth.
She
You
showed
change your idea of what the
That's-
past means
thank
to
you.
you,
She
though.
showed
Yes.
it, gave me
Truth.
truth.
And how it
That's
helps
what
you.
you do.
Your
That is your
perception of the past.
divine.
It's just your
changes.
perception.
But that's her
Yeah.
divine
It's your
connection.
gift.
That is your
So you
gift.
can see the silver
Anybody
lining
can
in
tap.
everything.
I mean, not putting that down, but it's how you go about it and the information you
Well,
get.
thank you.
I agree, and thanks for saying that, because on my show or whatever, my thing, I was like, anybody can tap, and that is true. Anybody can. You just tap around. But what you're saying is absolutely true. That there's something to be said about you and the person helping you.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
because
thank you. I
she
love
does
it.
it with love, I think. You
I
do
do.
it for the compassion. You do it with, you really care for
Well,
your patients, and I think that makes the huge difference.
I've always said that you have this ability. You don't judge anyone. I mean, I can be tough sometimes, and she's like, okay, all right, what you doing? What's going on? And it's not it's never about you. I mean, you never internalize things anyway. I don't I'm sorry, I don't want to put you on the spot,
Yeah.
but
No, thank
No,
you.
it
It's
is
great.
beautiful.
Tiffany is
It's
just a
I'm
very
trying to walk the
lovely,
walk.
lovely woman.
Thank you,
Mhm,
Sarah.
you
We're-
are.
all of us are in our way. I love all of you.
Kumbaya.
Yeah, group hug. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. I'm working on my tapping and the show and the kids and summer and just hanging out and having fun.
Yeah, we are having a good time.
I think it's cool though that we all come together because we all kind of have a different approach, and we come from different backgrounds, but we still feel like we're all
We are in the
sisters.
same room.
Yes.
That's
I want to do a
right, that's
network.
right.
I really do want to do a network, and we
Cone.
all have our own.
Oh.
And we all have our own show, and well, you're with me, but
Yeah.
we all have our own show, and then we have,
Let's do it.
then something.
Well, it's kind of happening now. I mean, it's not as a network, but we're all networking
Networking.
together with our
That's right.
Yeah, no,
shows
we're
and
gonna run
our
all of our shows
endeavors.
and then put them in the one network. Let's do it.
Exactly,
Let's do it.
exactly.
What's
Well,
going on with
I'll have a
Kerry?
baking show.
I was not going there. No, I'm kidding.
Yes, you are.
Yeah,
What's
go.
going on with Carrie?
Well, I think one day we're gonna be touring, and then that's what Eric's shown me. In the future, we will have like a JoyRide show.
The
Joy
JoyRide tour.
Tribe.
And it's
Oh,
gonna have
tour.
all of us in it, and we're all gonna do our own
You're all
thing,
gonna
and
be
I think
driving
it's
the
gonna be a
bus.
lot of fun.
I'm in the back of
I've
the bus.
seen it; they've
Back
shown
of the
it to
bus.
me. So, but I don't know
Yeah, you
when
can
or
go back.
how.
Well,
Well,
the way, like when you
short
guys was doing your Vegas and you're like, we have this idea, and man, y'all just threw it out there, rolled it out,
We
and
did
everything
it.
came together, and it happened. And now here's another one, and you're expanding and expanding.
Yeah, that is really
Yeah.
cool.
It doesn't
It's the
really
same
take
thing.
as
Total
long,
trust.
And it
It's
doesn't
just
have
about
to-
making a decision.
and it doesn't have to be perfect. Like
Yes.
you're like, we have
Making a
no
decision to do it.
idea
Well-
how this is going to happen. It doesn't have to be all ducks in a
And you-
row.
yeah.
Squirrels
We
in
were
a
just
rave.
sitting there,
You
though.
just go with the flow and see, okay, now we got to do this, and then you go, and that's how life is too. It's one step at a time.
Right,
You
make
know,
a
the
decision.
problem is we
It's
want
a
it
good
all.
decision.
We
It's
want the
much
results
easier.
all right away,
Right.
but we have to take the steps.
But I've been told that if you saw the end result, you'd probably freak out. Like, I can't do that. I can't leave my kids. I can't, and
That's
you would-
exactly how
So
I
instead,
felt.
it's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were
Step
sitting
at a
at
time.
Yeah.
Sarah's house making boards. And she's like, well, I'm not really sure about this, and I'm not really sure. And it, you went from that to this
To doing
successful,
it, to doing this
incredible thing.
huge thing. I got to brag. It was like the best spiritual convention I had ever been to. It really was.
It's cool to say about your own. I mean, you really should.
I know.
Yeah, it was
really
awesome.
neat.
It was a lot of fun.
So
It's a lot
that
of
is.
fun.
Okay, so
yeah,
what's
that's
what
Yeah,
you doing?
quit diverting.
Yeah,
I'm not diverting. I'm trying to. We only have 13 minutes left. I thought
You
I
got
could
13
dodge
minutes to brag about yourself. Go.
it. No. I've been. Okay, so I have no.
First, she's entertaining me.
Yes, and your lovely mother, and so
Yeah.
we're all gonna have
We're
a great time
having
this
fun.
week. But I've kind of been in the 3D world, and I sort of have realized that being away with my kids and husbands, no, not there all the time, and so we are. It's a lot of feeding, cleaning, more kids,
They
more
eat.
feeding,
They
more
just
feeding.
keep
They
eating.
do. Like, didn't I feed you yesterday? Oh
I
my
know.
god.
Didn't we already do this? Like at 6.
Quit
Are we doing
feeding
it
them.
again?
Just quit feeding. You will save money. You'll save time. Just quit feeding them.
You need a self-feeder.
Oh, I love that cat food. There you go. Go for it. No.
Kibble. That's right.
Kibble. They're your kibble.
24/7.
You know, and
Sweet
it's
cookies.
it's
Those little
fun.
animal crackers.
but I can feel the expansion happening in that it's sort of like a little bit of a break, I think, and because we have some ideas working with kind of where we want to take the show, and we have, I'm trying to talk to everybody that writes in and trying to make time for that, but so that's one part of it, and oh my gosh, this whole Arcturian thing is mind blowing.
That's
We gotta
cool.
talk.
I know.
Mind
We
blowing.
gotta talk.
I know. It's so funny because I wrote you. I'm like, I'm in. I don't think I'm in. I don't think I'm in.
KKKK.
Take me out.
That's right. That's so, funny.
She had written something about, do you want to meet certain things and certain people, and I'm
Trying
not sure
to
how vague I
meet
need to
some
be.
aliens.
Do you want to meet some aliens?
I
Yes.
said,
No.
yes,
Yes.
yes,
There's no secrets with the alien stuff. Blurt it.
Okay. And so I said, oh, that sounds like fun. I just watched the show, and it just sounded like a good time. And I said, Tiffany's in too. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. People
You
are
should
doing
ask
that.
her.
People are match. Wait. No. Back up. And so and you're like, I don't know. I mean, I love your honesty because you don't say, oh, no, it's all kumbaya. You're like, I don't know, man.
Well,
I
tell
mean,
us what you're talking about. I don't know what this is.
Well, I've been merging with an alien.
Subtle wink.
Merging energy.
Look at him.
Merging.
And I was like, wait, you're coming now
What?
to Belgium?
I'm bringing my alien with
Okay,
me.
can you tell us what merging with an alien is
Well,
and what it feels
Where's
like?
he from?
He is a
Taco
tall
You gotta know
white.
the background.
He's
you
a
know?
tall white. And
Okay.
Heather hooked me up. She's got a tall white friend. And tall whites are very like dedicated. They're like penguins, and you like meet and mate for life. but I just wanted to have a little fun. So I found one that is a little less conventional. So I'm having a little fun with an alien.
Yeah,
Isn't
why
that
not?
crazy?
I had an alien
what is it-
encounter once.
Wait, hold. What is it like?
It's
Pin in that one.
delicious. It's like energetic foreplay.
Are you sure you just don't have a really active imagination?
I am sure, because he's not my only connection.
Polish
my
your
only
orange.
alien one.
Dude, that marble is rolling around in my brain,
Yeah.
trying to find somewhere to
I
lay
think
it
that's
in.
still part of our past life there as a prostitute. I think it's still somewhere in you.
I
It's
know.
connecting to that
I
life
heard
somehow.
hooker.
Yes.
I did.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not calling you a hooker.
Well, we were hookers
But we were
together.
hookers.
Yeah.
We're proud to be hookers. Yeah.
That's right.
Hookers unite.
Hooker fist bump, more power.
Breast bump.
Oh God.
I want
Okay,
to
but
explore that life, because there's so many of us in channeling Eric that are in that
Yes.
life.
In that life.
Yes,
Yeah.
one life.
Well, okay,
We
so
were
you know
all
what I
drinking
remember?
and having sex and.
That's right. Why do you think I was
watched
there?
Westworld.
That's right.
So I have always known on top of a grassy knoll, and I have a billowing
Skirt?
skirt, and it has little yellow flowers. And so, I mean, it could have been my wife or my daughter. I think it's me because I've looked down and I see it. But it's so I was there. I may have been the preacher's wife, but I was there.
You're probably there
the
with me
hooker
baking,
town.
making
All right.
biscuits.
We'll find
Exactly.
out.
Well, we have a few days. on our
Okay,
trip
so
to
they
figure
talk
it out.
about sex in the afterlife as being this merging of energies, and it's just so transparent and amazing. And so I wonder if that's you're
Well,
just
I'm
merging
getting
your.
a few. Well, I actually asked Eric about this one day. Do I have enough time? Okay, and I asked him about. God, I'm going to get into this a little bit. Merging is kind of when you are conscious, but they're like dropping their energy into you. So you're lying there. And
That's
that's
more
when
like
you
a
feel it
trans
really
channeling?
good. A little semi-trance channeling, because
But
my
maybe
body
a
will
different
move.
intent,
I
maybe.
do weird things with my hands moving. And then there's like astral, which
I bet you do.
apparently
With
I'm
your feet.
getting it on all the time. I just don't remember. But I will get to experience and remember that soon enough, and I'm really looking forward to that. And there's other things in between too that are going on, but I totally encourage astral sex if anybody's interested. It's great. Look at that.
That's what I've
Everyone's
heard. No, I've totally,
Yeah, and
I've
I've had
totally heard that.
a customer
Okay,
once, and his
yes.
wife was extremely sexual, and she had passed away, and she was very young, and so when she came through, she was like, "Okay, let's try this at night," and I actually had to say it, so I was like, all turning red. I was like, "How am I going to say
Your
this?"
wife wants you to
Yeah,
go have
and he
sex
was
with
like,
her
"Oh,
and I-
that's so my wife." That was his answer. He's like, "What else? Tell me."
yeah.
Bring it.
Yeah, he was all over it. So yeah, so I was
I've
like,
heard more and
I
more
was basically
stories.
telling other people, have sex with your dead wife.
So yeah, so one of the things
why
that Heather and
not?
I are doing
Why
are
not?
trying to open that door.
Yeah.
That these relationships with other dimensional beings, whether it's a spirit or an alien or I don't even know what else, and I don't know, some galactic amoeba. I have no idea. I'll try that next.
How do you vet it though? How do you vet what comes through? Because I know there's this big. Okay, so you have James Gilliland, who is amazing. I mean, he's high integrity. Blah blah blah. Then you have Dr. Greer, and who is the disclosure, all this stuff, and these different camps. And one says let anything in, and one says oh hell no, because it's this that on the upper dimensions, yeah, but on ours we still have that contrast. So it is. So you do kind of have to vet it.
You know what? I'm a little bit reckless. I got to admit, I have such a shiny disposition that no bad can ever come my way, and I think that benefits me because if I
Yeah.
stay in that vibration,
Yeah.
Nothing's
then
gonna
that
happen.
will happen.
That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
gonna say it's how you approach it. I mean, I talk to spirits every day, all day, 7 days a week. So I mean, people say, well, don't you ever have like negative spirits come in and they don't want to leave? I said no, because I don't allow them in. In my mind, there is
You've
no
done
negative
protection
spirit.
stuff.
I don't let them in either.
Yeah. So I don't allow them
doesn't
in.
exist.
if you don't
I'm
believe
still
it, it
working
doesn't
on this.
exist.
Doesn't exist.
It's all in how you approach
But
it.
I got a message
If
from
you're
Justin
afraid,
that
then you're
said,
gonna let him
he
in.
said, just be careful what you're conjuring with your witchy stuff because you might, get included in something that you're not really ready to explore. And that made me take pause a little bit. And I didn't necessarily feel like it was a negative thing, but maybe just radical.
Yeah.
But don't you think it's to interpretation? If you're not in a good place, then you're
That's
interpreting-
true,
you're-
too, 'cause
you're
if-
perceiving
yeah.
them as being a negative energy when it's really your own thoughts and your own.
That could be it too.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so we did a show, and I was our last tea time, And you brought that up, and my family, I've gotten more feedback in that. I mean, you had me until you talked about, I don't know, alien sex. Talked about it last time. That wasn't Carrie, that was Heather. And so now it's Carrie.
Well, I got hooked up.
You got to meet her, guys.
The friend had a friend, right? You got a wingman.
Funny.
Okay, so how do you introduce this idea? Because this is who you are. You don't keep it separate. You don't, and I love that you're freak flag flies, which I think we all should. And how do you, though, how do you integrate this into making lunches, driving carpool, hi honey, you're home?
Just like you do. Just like you do. You have the two things. And I started to tell my husband some of the stories, but he just wasn't buying it, so I backed off a little bit.
Did you get that I believe you believe it?
I didn't even get that one this time. Okay, alien. Okay, you're gonna hang out with an alien in your meditation. Have fun.
So you didn't tell him what you were doing, hanging out?
Well, I did tell him one time I was having a date with one, and he didn't like that. It's just a little out there for him. I just quit telling him, and it's not that I have secrets from him. I'm glad to tell him everything. He just.
Like the don't ask, don't tell.
It just sounds stupid. It doesn't sound real. It just sounds like I'm irritating him with, my nonsense. So.
Sandpaper on a sunburn.
Yeah, kind of like that.
But this is great for the viewers because now those who want to research and learn more about not the sex part of it, but just aliens in general.
Or
too.
the sex part.
Having relationships with aliens and you communicate. Why
Absolutely.
Not?
And and I think that they do. I don't know. I want to find this out, but I think that when you do connect, I think you receive healing energies at the same time. So.
I've been studying my Bashar contact info. He's got the symbols, and I've been studying those, and it's there. Something's changing.
Has he put it out there yet? Has the show? We were talking about hosting contact.
I think it premiered in L.A.
It has been premiering. He has a new documentary called Disclosure, I think, something like that, and it's about his journey to his contact.
Daryl Anka.
So we'll put that on the website because. I don't know if it's out for general view now. I know they were having private screenings, but I'd love for them to do a DVD release. We should have a JoyTribe DVD release viewing party or something.
There's many amazing channelers out there on YouTube.
Yeah, Abraham Hicks and Seth all of those.
Cryon, I love Cryon. That's where I first got into it. The very first one, A Journey Home. I buy it every time I see it. I buy it because I give it away.
Yeah,
because it's really good, and he channeled Carol channeled the whole thing, and it was a story I read years ago, and it's funny coming back and you read it again, you're like, a totally different perspective.
Level.
Yeah, it's really good, and there are some great ones out there, and there's some that I watch, and it's like, okay, I think I'm going back to Bashar.
Right. Ones who you find ones who resonate make
with
you feel good in your heart, a higher level of vibration. No fear. Take all the fear out in this.
Taking the pin out of her alien story.
Oh, right.
2 minutes.
Well, okay. Well, real quick, it was a real quick encounter, but so all of a sudden, my husband and I were watching TV, and all of a sudden I felt freezing cold. Freezing cold. I was like, what is going on? Yes. So all of a sudden I hear Eric going, oh, yeah, there's this alien here who just wants to say hi. So Eric brought this alien in. I don't know, he kind of looked like a gray a little bit, but he was like short. So
short gray?
Yeah. So, but he didn't have the huge head like you see in the movies. It was more human-like, and he just had a little bit more wider on top. And so he was just saying that he was here to study love, and he wanted to see the relationship between me and my husband. I was like, okay.
Just snuggled up on the couch watching a movie, and aliens are observing.
And so, so I communicated with him, and I said, sure, I'm giving you permission to observe us, because, I couldn't see him physically. He didn't, appear in front of me. He said we weren't ready for that or something. I don't know. But my husband felt him as well. And that night, I was sleeping, sound asleep. All of a sudden, I wake up. I'm the lightest sleeper. The smallest sound or anything, I wake up. Or just a feeling of energy. I wake up, and I look up, and he's standing right next to my bed in the flesh. And I see him. He sees me, and he takes off.
Whoa, I've been spotted.
He didn't expect me to wake up or something. And all I could see was his back, and he just disappeared. I saw his back. He was running, and he disappeared, and I freaked out. And
were you still cold? I got freezing cold.
It's
cold. I get really cold.
Yeah. They're different than spirits. Spirits are
freezing cold.
Just a light breeze. But yeah, that was my encounter. And he
awesome.
ran off, and I never saw him again.
I bet he just didn't appear.
I told him, don't do this. You can talk to me, but not when I'm sleeping.
No, don't show up and
Maybe you
stand
wanna-
over my
Don't
bed.
be a
That scared
stalker
me.
experience.
I
So you can
scared me.
share it
Okay.
today.
Yeah.
Guys, this is an hour has already gone by.
No.
So here we are.
Say it isn't so.
So guys, thank you
We
for
love you.
coming and
love you
and
too.
Thank
it
you,
is
Emma, Sarah, and Kari. We're
you.
listening for
And-
our music to say goodnight.
Yes.
So goodbye. Until next time, we love you. Thanks
We-
for joining us.
Yes, thank you, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Love ya.
Bye.
Red roses too, I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful